One. Yo, it's your guy Ben Duran back again with another installment of the 42 podcast. And today I got a special guest with me. I got my guy. Go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
What's good? How y'all doing? It's Red Spade.
Word, man. It's good to have you here, man. Good to have you here. So, man, I just want to jump right into it, bro. I think I told you this at New Year's Eve, kind of in a slightly drunken rant a little bit. But, dude, yo, to me, you're the biggest inspiration out of, like, the whole friend group, bro, honestly.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem, bro. I feel like you're the one who, like, put his money where his mouth is, put the work in for it. And, like, it's like every time you say you're going to do something, I say you do it.
I try to.
Word. And that's what got me doing this podcast. So, like originally when I was envisioning this shit, I was like, it was literally you, Del Deo, and Shiz that were, like, the people I'm like, they have to be some of the first people on, hands down. Just because, like, I feel like, you know, those, you know, people that, like, Shiz, you know, in terms of, I feel like he's another one that puts in the work as well, too.
Mm-hmm.
But just Tone, like, Del Deo, like, he was the one that, like, incepted the whole podcast idea in the friend group in the first place. Because he was, like, the podcast dude. He watches a whole bunch of podcasts.
Yeah, podcasts are lit.
Yeah, bro. Like, I was just listening to an old Rogan podcast. He had Sam Harris on. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he's kind of like a thinker, I guess. That's how I would call him.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know, man. I like podcasts when they talk about technology because he was talking about AI in the future, like the progression of humans and technology, where eventually they believe, like, it's called the singularity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically like just the point where, like, humans and technology become one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
so like some Terminator shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy shit, bro. Crazy town.
So when you say he's a thinker, do you mean like he like thinks outside the box, or he's like a thinker in terms of like a creator?
Like a creator, like he's like what's the better word? I'm trying to find a better term. Kind of like a philosopher type of dude.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man. So I just want to, man, that Issue song, bro. That's been in my playlist.
Thank you, bro.
Bro, that's my shit.
I'm
right
trying
now.
to push it the best I can. I'm trying to find different areas to put it. I know the last podcast that I was on Thursday asked to use it, so hopefully I can get more attention with it. Because I knew when I put the song out, I knew it wasn't going to get that much of attention because, like, I'm better with my visuals and my concepts. So once I put the video out, I knew I was like, all right, cool. Now let's get things rolling.
Gotcha, I feel you. So is it like more so? Do you, when you're like creating a song, are you thinking about the video like beforehand as well, like with the concept of the video too as well?
Nah, not at all. The way I create is I hear the beat and then I write however the beat like portrays that emotion. So like whatever sound is giving off, that's how I'll write for it, because there's a lot of stuff that I can reach out to, a lot of facets I can tap into. So like depending on however that beat makes me feel, that's how I write. So Issues was like a smooth, chill type of song. So I was like, all right, after I wrote for it, I was like, all right, I want the video because it has like a dreamy feel to it. So I was like, the concept was gonna be like me falling asleep or passing out. The whole video's a dream. I wake up at the end of the video. Untouchable was fast paced, and the song was Untouchable. So I wanted to do a video. It was like nobody could touch me the whole video. So that's how I did that. Yeah, Poppin was just like a good kickstart video, good kickstart song.
Yeah, I remember when you were filming that. I was supposed to be there, but
I sent mad invites out. Yeah, you good, man. Everybody can't always make it. I don't like the first rule of doing music is don't hold grudges. So I never hold grudges.
I feel you. Yeah, because like I know with like just like the process, like literally, because I'm more so want to focus on like the visuals with my music. So it's like I'm automatically off the rip like thinking of like videos and shit like that, like in the film stance. Like Todd always be telling me, bro, slow down, dog. Slow down.
You got to take it a step at a time.
Yeah,
because you can't do the video unless you got the song first.
Exactly. And it's like with me, I just like, it's like I'm always 10 steps ahead to the point where I should just like, I need to get to the genesis of it first. Yeah. Because it's like, I'll be working on the single, right? I'll be writing to the shit and I'll fuck with the concept. Like every song, mixtape, EP, whatever it is, I try to design like some type of film or movie around it because I want to like touch that audience with my music too. And I always end up planning out like a mixtape or an EP or some shit. And I'm like, all right, I'm not doing this shit now.
You guys gotta feel it. You got like, there's nothing wrong with doing what you're doing because that's how you feel. Because you always, as an artist or a creator, should go with how you feel at the end of the day. But at a certain point, sometimes you gotta like really think about, is this what I really want to put out? Is this the content that I want to be the definition of me? So that's what helps me make my decisions. Because I have plenty of songs that haven't come out yet or probably won't come out, either because I don't want it to come out, because it's not the right time for it yet, or because the people around me that was like, don't put that out.
I feel you. Word. So I would assume that you would have like a team around you, right? Like a team of people that assist you, or is it mainly just you? Like making decisions and things like that.
So at first I felt like it was just me, and then the more I spoke to people, the more like I realized that, like, yes, it's me in terms of making my moves and taking care of my business, but I do have a team in terms of the people that care about me, the people that support me, the people that actually believe in me.
Okay.
So those people are the people I talk to. Those people are the people that I reach out for opinions, and they'll like support me in one way or another. So like I might not have a manager, but I have people that can help me manage as I go through everything. I might not have a promoter, but I have people that are willing to help me promote certain things. So like, and I have people that I've networked with that I reach out to and ask questions and stuff too. But like, as far as like an actual, like, you do this, you do that, that's your job. That's not. I don't really have that. But it's something I'm looking for, but that comes with time. So I'm just patient with it.
Word. So how do you like, in terms of like, see, one thing I've always found interesting within the music business and everything was how like artists are marketed and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say like has been your strategy for marketing like your creativity, like your music and things like that?
My strategy is definitely visuals. Visuals are always a go-to. Let me see. I do hit people up in their DMs, but I don't like go crazy with it. It's like I really think about who would appreciate each song I promote, and then push it towards that person or that audience when I like do my promotions and things like that. So it's not just a whole bunch of spam DMs.
I feel you. Yeah, my co-host on the Star Wars show I do, he's like, yeah, bro, Spade hit me up and sent me a song, or Sam Young.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, Spade sent me a post and things like that, or a song that you had put out, or whatever. And yeah, so I was like, yep, I see the moves, because it was like, I'm so like I'm around everybody. I just forget that certain people don't necessarily know each other. Like I didn't know Sam, didn't know Shiz and shit like that. So I just like automatic. But when he told me that, I was like, oh, all right, bet. So
Do you know what song it was?
I forget which one.
It wasn't Issues, was it?
I don't think so. I think it was
Untouchable, maybe.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people like that one.
Yeah, that you barred out on that. That's one thing, bro. You be having some of the fucking illest bars, bro. I'm not going
Thank
front.
you, dog.
And it's like shit that like. It's not like, cause like that's what I look for honestly in music, and like and particularly rap.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when I hear a dope bar, I just sit there. I have to marinate on that shit. I'm like, oh, and then it's like you kind of talking to yourself for a minute when you listen to the song. You realize people looking at you like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
but
and it's crazy too, cause like I write so much that it's just like what might be a dope bar to somebody else is just something that I wrote to me. Yeah. So it's just like. Because I'm always trying to improve, and like the dopest bar might be something simple for me because I'm just writing it, and I'm just like, it makes sense to me, so I'm just like, all right, cool, and then I just keep going.
Like you had one on I think it was Untouchable, where you said I bring something like the lightning like Thor, and my like relative to low key, or my relatives is low key. I was like, oh yeah. Shit, that joint was hard. I fucked with that joint.
Usually I prefer to stay low key, but I bring the thunder like Thor. My relatives low key. Yeah. So how verse wise, just like verses wise, how many verses do you think you would write for like a song? Because I know like when I'm writing a song like for like a specific song, I have like 4 or 5 verses that I'll write for it, and I'll just trash, or not necessarily trash, but keeping it tucked, and then like use it probably for later. But how many verses like per song do you think you write, like just testing different things out? I just write once.
I write
one verse for every song. the only time you'll ever catch me writing more than one verse for a song is if I write it and then I'm saying things that shouldn't be on the song. So like I've had songs where, cause I know like the way that I go about everything is no matter what I'm going through in life, I'ma still write. So if I catch a song, if my producer sends me a beat, or if I hear a beat that reflects what I'm currently going through, and I write to that beat, I might put too much of my own emotion into it, and then put too much me into it, and not enough for other people as well. Because you gotta, like, when you're making a song, you gotta think of other people too. Like, will they want to hear that? Will they, like, what will reach out to them? It can't just be about you sometimes. So you gotta tell your story while at the same time making it feasible for other people to really grab onto. So like I've done that a couple times where like I was mad, I was sad, I was upset, and then I just put too much into it, and I had to really like cut some things off and rewrite.
Gotcha. Yeah. See, that's the issue I be having too. Like I just want to put everything on the table, but it's like G was telling me about that, like just reserving. You feel me?
Yeah, reserve it for. Because honestly, if you put everything into one song, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you cut back, just think about everything that you cut off that you can put into other songs. That's just more material that you can put out instead of just putting everything into one specific song.
Word. Shit, man. So do you like for your videos? Now I want to touch on that too. Do you like direct them? Like, are you like the one like not necessarily storyboarding, but like putting together like what you want to see in the scene, or is it more like a collaborative effort with the person shooting the video?
It's collaborative, but I always come with my idea first. Like I write everything down that I want. Like literally every video, the way that you see it is majority my idea. So like for Yeah I'm Poppin', I made those poster boards. I said, let's do it at the riverfront. I said I wanted like group shots and stuff like that. And like I wanted a video where people went from hating me to loving me. For Untouchable, I found the venue for that. I found all my venues myself. So I found the venue for that. It was dope. And like I think literally that day I made on the spot, I made up like where we was gonna shoot at. Mm-hmm. But in terms of how the shot was gonna go, I already knew that on before we got there. And for Issues, for the most part, the editing and stuff, that was all a Third Eye. But the concept was my concept. So I wanted all that to happen. Like I wanted to fall asleep somehow. Like we made up an idea of how I would fall asleep, but I knew I wanted to fall asleep and then wake up at the end of the video and have the whole video be a dream sequence.
Word. See, I think that's like classic shit, bro. Like I love that shit. Like those like wherever it was rock, hip hop, it will always be that video where you see the rapper like walk in, their song playing and shit. That's why I fucked with it so hard. Yeah. Because like the song was playing in the background and it just like goes there. You're like, dun, dun, dun,
yeah.
Dun. That shit, I was like, I really fucked with that concept. It threw me back to like the MTV videos and shit like that. Yeah. So that's what it really reminded me of. And
that opening shot is dope. Like that's my favorite. That's my favorite opening shot.
The quality, bro.
Yeah.
So how did you choose the lighting? Because that's what really captured my eye was the lighting.
So we shot the video in a photography studio. Shout out LJ Studios. She already had lights there. So even if she didn't have lights, Third Eye had his own lights, so he could have bought his lights. But she had lights, and we were just messing with the different colors. So a dreamy combination of colors is blue, purple, maybe a little bit of red. Those three colors combined gives that very dreamy, euphoric atmosphere.
That's what it felt like. It's a lot of like artwork out there of like psychedelic trips and things like that. Mm-hmm. That's what it reminded me of so much. Like just seeing like the lights, and sometimes they would form patterns in the video.
Yeah,
that shit was so fire, bro.
Yeah, it was a good video. I had fun. We had fun too. It's all about having fun.
Exactly, and it's like, I don't know. This might be me. Like, I feel like I'm being unbiased when I say this, and like, but I feel like a lot of our music, like, and I would exclude myself from this because I don't feel like I've made good quality music like that yet. Mm-hmm. But like you, G, Millie, Quran even, Jakai, Del Deo. I feel like, bro, like when I put their music on, like around like people that don't know us at all, they'll be like, oh, who's this? Like it's another artist. You feel me? It's not like, and that's what I always like. It's so dope about Delaware. To me, Delaware has the potential to be one of those.
It has a lot.
Music hubs, bro.
There's a lot of talent in Delaware, and people don't realize it. Like, you really have to get off your ass and put yourself into the scene to really understand how much of a scene there really is. There's a lot of talent. There's talent everywhere. It's just a matter of passion and like everybody, because everybody's gonna make music. Everybody is gonna do this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, it comes down to how much each person individually wants it, which is why I don't stress and I don't sweat it when somebody else is winning or when somebody else might like have a song that's hotter than mine or whatever they did, because everybody gets their time. If you really want it, you're gonna get it, and like that's all it is.
Like even like just artists when Todd started the double E shit and everything. Like I never heard of Grim Slice, and I'm like legitly like a fan. I'm label based with this. Damn, I feel kind of like yeah. But like just like different, and like you said, just like it's pockets and things like that, and just talent all over. But I even look at Delaware itself, like it's a very weird, unique place. Like at one spot you could have Wilmington, where it looks like a mini North Philly, basically. Then you could go like in the Newark area, and even like going a little higher in like the Hockessin Valley area, where it literally looks like a little European town. It's so many unique areas in Delaware. That's why I'm like, this place is too weird for it not to be popping.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't even know. I don't even know where it could start at, because I mean, there's a lot to be done, and there's a lot that is being done, because there's a lot of artists doing big things, but just a lot of people are just stuck in their ways, and it's really messing it up, and it makes it feel less of a loving atmosphere than it should be. Because I mean, like, I support every artist I come across. Like, if you got the talent, if you got the personality and stuff like that, like if you're just a good artist, a good person, I'm gonna support you all the way. But sometimes you just compare it to other places, and it's like, we can do better. Like Atlanta, we could do better. New York, we can do better. Like all those areas, those specific areas, like making that mark, and they have made that mark. Like Delaware hasn't done that yet.
Exactly, man. And it's like, man, just like I said, just thinking about it, man. Even like, are some artists I didn't name that I can't name off the top of my head yet, but like, just crazy shit. Like, and even when I was going on like the whole like the showcases back in the day and everything, I think the last one I went to was one of yours, I believe. It was like just seeing the atmosphere, and this is like, I'm no offense to anybody, I'm not trying to like throw shade at anybody, but it seemed like it wasn't like a necessarily 100% welcoming atmosphere. Like whenever our artist was on there, people were like kind of looking like, oh, I'm better, my music better than this, instead of like, oh, like cheering for the nigga when he.
Do you remember which one it was?
I forget, bro.
Or like what the venue might have looked like?
I know it was the John off of the 896 bridge.
896.
Going towards People's Plaza on that back road.
Yep, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah,
you're talking about the space.
Yeah, one. And it was like it's a like, no pun intended, it's a dope space. Like,
yeah, it was a dope space.
It was a little dope, It took. I think I went with Quran. It was literally like 2 or 3 years ago.
It was, yeah. It's not even open anymore. The lease is up, and they moved to a different area. It's not the space no more, because Yanni, she opened a photography studio. I haven't checked it out yet, but she's doing good too.
Word, that's good. Yeah, and it just seemed like just not necessarily like the people that was there that worked there, more so like the artists that came. It was like it wasn't like to me it didn't feel like a welcoming atmosphere. It seemed competitive, which to some degree you are supposed to be competitive.
Yeah, you're supposed to be competitive.
But if you really want your area to win, you gotta like let some of that pride and ego go. Like you gotta be, like you said, be willing to let somebody else have a popping song or be the popping artist for that time, and everybody gets get their shine.
Yeah, just put the work in.
Yeah. So man, what is like something musically, musically that you would want to try different, try something new? Like,
I can't even answer that because I'm always trying to do something different. Like, I'm always experimenting. That's one thing that I have no problem at all experimenting. I've sung, I've rapped, I've messed with like I don't want to necessarily say alternative, but like I've messed with songs that don't sound like rap, but like I'll rap on it or I'll harmonize stuff like that. Like I've done a lot. There's songs that my producer has because he's working on a project that like I've sung with like auto tune and stuff like that, and it came out dope. So like I'm always willing to experiment. I'll do a country song tomorrow if I feel like it. So like I don't want to be put in a box. Like just because you rap doesn't mean you're a rapper. It just means you make music and you haven't stepped out of your comfort zone yet. So I'm an artist.
You know how to play any instruments?
I'm okay with the piano.
The piano?
Yeah, I play it by ear. I don't really know how to read music.
Same here. Yeah.
But like I always play it by ear. I learned how to play violin in like 4th grade. Haven't touched the violin since, so I don't even know if I still have that. But yeah, that's it.
I'm teaching myself how to play guitar right now.
Guitar, that'd be a dope one. I really want to play piano though, so just having a rookie kind of touch to it is good enough for me to build off of.
So, do you listen to any music outside of rap?
I do. I actually listen to a lot of music.
Word. What you listening to now outside of rap?
So I listen to podcasts, and just the podcast in general put me onto new music. So like I just got put on to Johnny Cash.
Oh, he's dope.
Yeah, he's real dope. So anything from rap to R&B to jazz to like I'm trying to get into country. I found there's one country song that I like right now. I try to listen to more Jimmy Allen because he's from Delaware.
Jimmy Allen?
Yeah.
I've never heard.
Yeah, he's a country. Yeah, check him out. He's a country singer from Delaware. He's popping, like big time popping. So yeah, I listen to anything as long as it's good music. It doesn't really matter to me. So like I was listening to old school rap on the way over here. So like it just depends on how I feel for the day.
Word. Like I know for me, man, I love like that. Like I would say like 60s, late 60s up until like the Nirvana era of rock. I love that shit so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my favorite band used to be Nirvana. I would probably say it's Korn now, bro.
Korn.
Love Korn.
Then they just put out an album.
I think so. But I'm more a fan of the old shit. Like it's an album called The Untouchables, and then it's another one called I want to say it's something in the mirror because like on the cover it's a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe wrong about that though. But like, dog, like just rock for me, man. Rock was always like as a kid, like being a young black kid going to school and shit like that. When you listen to rock, niggas look at you like, "What the fuck? You weird?
Yeah.
Like listening to that shit?"
Yeah.
And I kind of got away from it during high school, but then being around G and shit like that, G's like openly into rock and roll. Shit.
Very open.
Yeah, he put me on the Evanescence, bro. Evanescence is one of my favorite bands. The Wake Me Up Inside.
Okay.
Yeah, and dude, like even Matt put me onto a lot of shit. Like he put me onto my favorite like modern band. They're called 68. It's a 2-man band too. It's a guitar player and a drummer.
Mm-hmm.
And the guitar player and singer is from the band called The Cherry. I've never peeped them. I just fuck with 68 honestly, but
Mm-hmm.
they have a lot of like Christian influences in it and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always weird. Like I remember I was bumping in my car, and one of my uncles pulled up, and it was like he's on some like fucking like rock and roll's Illuminati devil and shit like that.
Come on, man.
Yeah, and he was like, you know that's the devil, right? I was like, no, it's a Christian band, right? Yo, they're singing about God right now. Just because he's screaming don't mean he's not singing about God. But,
Yeah.
but yeah, so like I don't know. I just like you said, like never being put in a box. And one thing I wanted to ask you was, how did you? So I always find the issue like I'm very extreme when I'm trying to make changes.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I started doing the show, I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm not listening to no more fucking podcasts no more because like I don't want to. Because for me, I don't want to pick up anything like anybody else, and I want to like what is it? Sculpt my own unique style, so people say, "Oh, that's Caleb," and not, "Oh, that's or Bendu." That's my stage name. So I said my government on the show. Like, oh, that's Bendu. That's not Bendu doing Charlemagne or Bendu doing Budden or Bendu doing Rogan. Like, people I watch and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like musically, like at the point where you realized you wanted to take rap seriously, how did you navigate through that? Because that's something I've always had trouble musically too.
In terms of what? In terms of finding my own sound, or in terms of
like more so like getting in the mindset of not being a consumer no more.
Okay.
Like you're not a fan no more. You're
okay, I'm a creator.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I just mainly it takes a lot of thought, and it takes that one step. Like you always gotta make that first step. That's the hardest step. The hardest step for everybody is always gonna be the first one. But once you make that step, once you make that step, you're like, all right, I can make a second. And then once you make that second, you're like, all right, I can make a third. Once you make the third, you're like, all right, I can jump a little bit. And then once you get to a certain point, you're like, all right, well, I'm too far in this now. I can't turn back. So once I got to that point, I was just like, all right, cool. So let's just try and evolve with this. Let's try and make a plan. Let's try and make a brand. Let's try and do this, that, and the third. Because, like, initially when I was making my brand, I was in college. And I went to college because I didn't know what I wanted to do with music. But I knew I was interested in, like, the medical field and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So, like, I just didn't want to be another rapper. So I was establishing my brand. By the time I graduated, I had my brand established. And then I just went heavy with it. And now, like, I don't feel like I'm just another rapper. I feel like I have something that sets me apart. I have something that, like, people are like, oh, that's him. Like, people know me, people see me, people say what's up to me. Like, I have people that consider themselves my fan. So, like, that's what I was working for.
See, that's like, and you've always had that open type of personality. Like, it was always like, you were always the dude cracking jokes. But when you would peep people, you could tell, I feel like, and tell me if I'm wrong, I'm just assuming this is from me looking for an outside in. I feel like you have a sense of, like, talking to people, if that makes sense. Like, realizing what people are going through without necessarily acknowledging it, making it like, oh, you're going, like, it always, because, like, I know sometimes you would say shit to me that you said at the right moment, at the right time, like one of those, like, you know how when, like, spiritual people say, like, oh, God speaks through people and things like that, and, like, he'll, like, say something important you need to hear at the right time through a person. Yeah. I feel like you're that person a lot of the time with a lot of people, because I definitely be peeping that shit, like for somebody to have that character as you do, to have that what's the word I'm looking for? You said it earlier, man. The I guess character, the
integrity,
personality the personality that you have, to where you're a funny ass nigga, you're funny as shit, but also
I'm alright.
Yeah, I'm kind of funny. Nah, but I honestly see you doing stand up too, by the way.
I don't know about that. We'll see. Maybe I'll end up being like Donald Glover.
Facts though. But yeah, just that personality of that, walking that fine line of, like, yeah, I could be the personality guy, like, you know, be the funny guy, but also be taken seriously at the same time. Like, I feel like most artists, and especially rappers, have a hard time of doing that. Like, you see dudes like the Baby and things like that. Like, I don't know when to take him seriously sometimes, because it's like, all right, you're the funny guy. Like, that's how I got into him, was him doing the Walker Texas Ranger video, being the funny guy.
That was a good video.
Yeah. But also at the same time, he's like that serious dude. Like, when I saw him on Big Boy show, he was talking a lot of, like, real shit on there, and it was like, oh shit.
Because it's entertainment. Like, I wouldn't, like, you really, a lot of people don't do this. A lot of people don't know how to separate the artist from the person. So, and sometimes you don't have to do that with certain people. Like, some people are very transparent with their music, and it's like what they put in their music and what their sound sounds like is actually them. But and then it even goes deeper than that. Like, it can still be them, but it can't be all of them sometimes. Like, it all depends. But I feel like in his case, it's him and his music, definitely. But I feel like every artist in the industry is smart. You can't get that far and not know what you're doing. So at the end of the day, it is business. So sometimes people do certain things for the business or for the label or to get this kind of advantage. And I feel like his situation is unfortunate because a lot of people like him. He's very talented. He's definitely putting on for Charlotte. But I don't know. Like, it's weird sometimes. Like, I try not to get too into the artist discussions and stuff like that because you never really know what's going on, especially with social media. Like, don't know what's going on. You just see the headline, and then people just make assumptions based off that headline.
Yeah, like fans think social media like put you closer to your artist, but I think it blurred shit even more, honestly.
Yeah, only thing that's gonna put you closer to the artist is the music.
Facts. So speaking, I wanted to touch on, so say, all right, how do you, because I could never see you going down this route, so I'm not even going to ask you that question.
You should ask me both.
All right, I was going to ask, how do you, like, and you kind of answered it before, but how do you stop yourself from becoming like a caricature of yourself, like a 6ix9ine? You feel me? Like, like where it's mostly about, because and that's why I said I didn't want to ask you it, because you don't do antics at all. But hypothetically, in a reality where Red Spade was running around saying "suck my dick" with colored hair and shit like that, like how do you stop yourself from getting to that point? Because it's like when you like sometimes when you see like, because I'm not gonna fraud, I'll be doing that shit in my little way sometimes, posting certain shit on social media when I know it's gonna get a reaction out of certain people, but at the same time, I feel like I deliver quality content on my podcast when I'm talking on that joint.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you, and you're like, and I guess the answer is with good music, but stop yourself from becoming that character of yourself, like becoming basically like it's more about your antics than your music. Like stop yourself from getting them clicks, basically.
Basically, the easiest way to answer that is just to say integrity. So, like, how you want to be seen. If you really want to be seen as that nigga, you're going to carry yourself like that nigga. Like, if you really want to be seen as a businessman, or if you really have intentions of being a mogul or, like, changing people's lives, you're not going to do all the stupid stuff that they do to get attention. Because at the end of the day, everybody wants attention. Everybody does stupid things to get attention, even if it's not music. Like, girls will post on they stories and stuff like that. And, like, you just look at it, and they'll basically just be begging for attention, because that's all social media is, just like, look at me. So I just know who I want to be seen as, and I know what kind of legacy I want to leave behind. So I stay away from it. The most I'll do is, like, I'll say something in one of my songs, or I'll put something in a video that'll catch people's attention, but I don't really want to, like, you don't want to be a shock job. Yeah, like, I don't want to dress up in army clothes and make a rap about Iran. So like I'm not for all that. I feel like you got some fire ass World War III memes in the tuck, bro. Bro, I don't play those games, man. I know you've been seeing. I'm not good with the memes. I think they funny, but like I don't really like make memes. I was never really good at making memes. I feel you. Cause like, dog, so many shits is so fire, bro. I'm good at grind sessions though. Like, I'll pull up a good ass picture and be like, yo, you look like this. Set the whole party on fire. I remember we had that grind session at Bugs' crib that one time, bro. It was a whole room full of niggas just going at each other. Bro, there'd be so many of those. Those be the best times. Oh my god, bro, that shit. I feel like you and Karan probably are the best. Bro, oh my gosh. Karan be having me weak as fuck. Oh my goodness. I don't even want to talk about it. What he said, we're not even gonna talk about it. What he say? No, we're not even gonna talk about it. It's a podcast. We're not talking about that. Yeah. I feel you. Behind the scenes shit. But hilarious. Yeah, he was on here. Yo, Karan woke, bro. Yeah, he's definitely like, I talk to that nigga like every day. I know what type of time he be on, and it's just like I don't know. It's a beautiful thing to see. It's definitely good to see, but I wish, like, that's another reason why I put so much work into what I do, is because I'm around people that I know can do better, and I'm around people that I know deserve better. So it's like I want to put myself in a better position so they can flourish, so they can show their potential to the world too. So it's like when I see stuff like that, it's like I don't want it to go to waste, because like he's not given enough credit with how much like he actually thinks about shit, how much he cares. Like, he's definitely not given enough credit. Yeah, like we was on here having a conversation just about like religion and shit like that. Oh damn, y'all talked about religion. Yeah, we did, man. Cause like I'm kind of on the same boat with him. It's like I'm not necessarily atheist, and I don't think he would identify as that. He doesn't. Yeah. But it's like it's just in a weird spot where you wake up one day and it's like, for you personally, like, that shit just don't make sense to you. And that's fine. Like, don't let anybody tell you that's not fine. Because I'm a very faithful person. So, which is why I can have those conversations with him. Because no matter what he says, it's not going to damage what I think. So, like, I'm a very open-minded person. I'll talk to him about it, and I understand where he's coming from. But having those kinds of people around you are good, because those people make you think. You don't want a group of people that think the same around you, because then you won't think any different.
And that's what I feel where society has gotten to, bro.
Yeah, everybody wants yes men around them.
Yeah, they want an echo chamber.
Yeah.
It's like, if you don't agree, that's honestly why I be saying some of the shit I say. Just like, because I was talking to him, that's what I said. I was like, bro, I literally, like, I know it sounds ridiculous. It sounds kind of petty and immature. But, like, when I see everybody, like, when everybody agrees on one thing, I have to go the opposite way. Because, like,
that's petty.
But when in humanity, when everybody has agreed on one thing, when has that ever ended good? When everybody agreed on the same thing, when has that ended good?
I'm gonna think of something. When everybody agreed to, let me see. I'm gonna have something by the end of the podcast. I'm gonna have something.
That's just, I feel you, but that's my thing. Like that. I refuse to be like to bend to anybody's like thinking. You feel me? Like to be forced to think in a certain manner or way.
Definitely.
And sometimes that leads me into like a lot of arguments and shit like that, especially when it comes to like things like politics and especially race relations, man. Like motherfuckers out here think I'm a coon, bro. But
that's because we all know why they think that. We know why.
Yeah, but look, man, look. I'm going to do that because it's like in my brain I can't. It literally like it's like me sitting there. It's like an itch that you want to scratch, and you can scratch it. It's right there on your arm, but you won't because your mom said if you scratch that shit, she's gonna beat your ass. It's like, bro, it's like, fuck it, man. Just get rid of it. Like I can't, bro. I can't. And it's like
nothing wrong with speaking your mind though. Never. Don't speak your mind because somebody else might be uncomfortable with it. Because there's two people in the room and you speak your mind, one person might not like it, but the other person will.
Exactly. And it's like, I feel like when you like when I had my woke time and shit like that, it was like I went through a whole phase of like saying just dumb shit. Like I would talk to Tony on the phone. He would be like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about right now? I would just say dumb shit like, bro, what if the aliens put Trump in the White House and the white supremacists are all aliens?
I was there.
Some crazy shit like that.
I was there. You definitely did. You definitely went through a phase.
Yeah. But it's like when you put things in perspective, it's kind of like the universe finds a way to work itself out. Like
always. It's weird. But yeah, that's true. It's very true.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, man, like I'm just very like when it comes to society and things like that, I try not to be like the hipster type, like, oh, I have to go against society. But it's like it's hard to. So, man, and that honestly kind of goes into we were like as artists too. On top of that, like I feel like it's our duty to think to be different than most people. You feel me? Because those are the people, artists like musicians. Back in the day, used to be like people that put on plays, but now it's movies and shit like that. Your authors, poets, and shit like that. They're the motherfuckers that basically like curate the mentality of society at the time. You feel me? Like the real society. Because when you look back, like during fucking like Shakespeare's time and shit, like some fucked up shit going on. But when you read this nigga shit, you would think it's like flowers and roses and shit like that. But then you look into the underlying shit under that. You feel me? So it's like I feel like we're like. Creatives are the motherfuckers that like curate culture. You feel me?
Definitely.
And that's I don't know. I guess that's what I like about podcasting and music and shit like that. So, I'm trying to think, man.
When everybody came together and agreed to okay, I have an example. I have a good one, and it's not like a. And tell me if this makes sense. Tell me if it works with your question. So, if a lot of people like an artist, and then that artist throws a concert, everybody is agreeing to come together to see that artist, and it's a good atmosphere.
Yeah,
that's a decent example.
But it's like, what if you get a person that doesn't necessarily like the artist or their music, but they're going simply off of the vibe?
Simply off about the vibe of
everybody like just wants to go see this artist because they like it's gonna be like a positivity and shit like that. Like
That's a good thing then.
I feel like the epitome of what you just said is literally Chance the Rapper.
I mean,
it has to be a Chance concert at that point.
It could be. Chance, from what I've seen, Chance's concerts be kind of lit. From what I've seen.
I just thought the music been trash lately, bro.
I like Chance's music. It's different. I'm going to always go with what's different. So if it's good and different, that's fine with me. Because people just, like, people want to hear certain things. Like, what's being pushed right now is definitely something that Chance is not doing. Yeah. So the fact that he keeps his integrity, though, that's why I like artists like him. Artists that always keep their integrity no matter what's going on. Because waves are waves for a reason. They come and go. So I could hop on the wave today and it'll be going tomorrow. And I'm like, damn, I should have just kept doing what I was doing.
Like, so how would you differentiate an artist that necessarily, so like an artist, say like an artist likes a certain style of music that happens just to be that poppin' music at the time. Like, how do you differentiate that from a wave rider? You feel me? What would you define that artist as?
You don't. It's a matter of what they do and what they know they've done. So like, if that's who you really are, then you have nothing to prove. But at the end of the day, the artist knows, and the people that really know that artist, like people like his entourage and stuff like that, they know this isn't really you, or they know that like you didn't really do this. So it's like it all comes into fruition, and at the end of the day, so like if you're not doing what you really are supposed to be doing, and if you're just putting on some kind of front just to get ahead, it's gonna fall apart at some point.
So I have to bring this up because I kind of been getting into like watching like UFC and shit like that lately. Mm-hmm. Are you still doing fighting?
I used to watch UFC heavy actually, but no, I don't kickbox anymore. I haven't kickboxed in like years. I always go back to. I get invited back to the gym all the time, but like, I just couldn't make the payments no more. I had to prioritize. So that was that situation basically. But like I actually never had a fight. Like honestly, I saw a post recently. Because a dude I went to high school with, he actually does that stuff heavy. Like, he's actually, like, borderline professional with it. What's his name? I think his name is Reese.
Okay, because it's a dude I went to middle school with that does it, too.
Yeah.
He does UFC. Keenan Forsey. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
Nah, I don't know him.
Yeah, he does it, too. There's a couple people from town I realized that do it.
But, yeah, I saw he put something up where he was like, people will, and it's like it's crazy how everything overlaps because it applies to music too. And I'll explain after I say it. But he was like, people will go into a kickboxing gym or any kind of fighting gym, and they'll tell people that they fight, that they're fighters, when in actuality they're just trainers, or not trainers, but they're just students. Like they're not fighters, they're students because they haven't actually fought. They've just been taught certain things, and they're just like training basically. So like that correlates to music because people will say they make music, or people will say, hey, I rap, but they don't have the proper footwork put in.
Facts. Like I wouldn't feel comfortable even trying to compare, even like trying to compare myself to somebody like you feel me? Like I feel personally like I haven't put that work in enough to even compare myself to certain people. So it's like, I don't know. It's a weird like balance because I feel like that definitely is.
But
like,
you've still put some kind of work in though. Like as long as the work is there, it's cool. Everybody's always gonna have put in more work. Like there's people that have put in more work than me. I've been in studio sessions with artists that like completely took over my shit. Like I'm having them feature on my track, but they're like telling the engineer to do this, that, and the third. That makes the track 10 times better than it would have been if I just did it myself. And then I learn from that so I can make my tracks in the future better. So like having people around you that elevate you is definitely necessary.
So and just going off of that, because that's what I've always been wondering. So especially like with, me doing the podcast and things like that, I wanted to get my own setup. But for artists who specifically work, focusing on music, should they be focusing on trying to like get like their own little home set up, or would it be more beneficial to go to a physical studio?
Personally, I feel like it should be a mixture of both because you need both experiences. Russ and I don't know why people don't like Russ, but
I love Russ.
Russ, he said he doesn't understand the reason why people still go to studios, and he doesn't understand the reason why people still buy beats, because we have the technology to do all that on our own. People are just lazy and they don't want to take the time to learn for themselves. But given that, there is a lot to be learned. So like I just started using FL Studio because I feel like it's time for me to evolve. So like I'm comfortable writing. I feel like I can write whenever, wherever, however. And I have my brand and I've like taken care of a lot of the business side of things. Like I'm covered. So now it's like, what else? So now I'm looking into like traveling. I'm looking into traveling more, and I'm looking into like FL Studio, making beats and like learning, because I'm around my producer all the time, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get FL one day and just start messing around. And like I made beats before on Mixcraft all the time, so like I'm familiar. Like I made a whole project with just my beats. The beats were trash, but like I'm familiar with sitting down, putting the work in, making the pattern, stuff like that, clicking through sounds for like 20 minutes before you find the one you like. I'm really familiar with it. So all that, it takes time, but it's worth it in the end, because it definitely puts you ahead of a lot of other people that aren't willing to do it, because there's a lot of people that aren't willing to do it. But yeah, you definitely have both, because going to a studio helps because you meet other artists that you might want to hop on the track on. You understand how the engineering process goes, more about watching an engineer. You get time to really focus on you as an artist instead of having to really focus on engineering and being the artist. So like there's pros and cons to everything. So you just gotta have a balance.
Yeah, because that's honestly like one thing I've been noticing, like with especially like producers, like the producer end. Like I feel like they don't take the time to fully learn how to produce. Like they just like put together like a what is the word I'm looking for, like a cliche like trap beat, which I'm not trying to knock anybody's style like that or anything, but like at the end of the day, like and I guess I sometimes I do have to kind of check myself when I be thinking this, but it's like, to me, if you're looking to get into the industry now and like making a name for yourself in it, it's all about pushing the envelope. That's what most of the artists that are still around today have done to some degree to where they're at now. Like the bigger artists, like we were following, like I remember being in high school, like hearing about Kendrick and you know, Drake at the time was becoming the Drake now, like Cole, like when he had the short hair, wearing jewelry and shit, like all that shit. Meek, like these guys, to me, these are people that have pushed the envelope in some form or fashion. Big Sean, even Wale, like pushed the envelope. So it's like that next generation has to do that. So,
and they're doing it in different ways, honestly, because if you think about it, life literally is a constant cycle. Yeah. Everything's always cycling. And it's crazy because I've been listening to Hove heavy, and like Reasonable Doubt, Hard Knock Life. And there was another one that I listened to. And Hove rapped off beat all the time. And like now Blueface, G Herbo rapping off beat. People are like saying this isn't hip hop, but the people that you saying are hip hop did this already. So it's a constant cycle, and it's just like
Pac had a nose ring too.
Yeah, Pac had a nose ring. I'm pretty sure at least one artist from back in the day had colored hair. Yeah. So it's just like you just gotta take what's given to you and really see what each person is doing. Lil Uzi started a whole wave.
Facts though.
Uzi started a whole wave, and
like he made EDM. I feel like him and Rocky made like that EDM and like alternative, not alternative, more so EDM. Like the dance music and shit like that, they made it more digestible in hip hop, because like hip hop fans used to look at that shit like that's some weird white people shit. Like
honestly, I wouldn't even give it to Rocky. I'd give it to Vince Staples.
Yeah.
I'd definitely give it to Vince Staples.
Yeah, Vince, like especially that what was the project before FM? Big Fish Theory.
Yeah, Big Fish Theory. Yeah, heavy EDM influence.
Bruh, I was like, this is a nigga, like, that's how I don't believe in Vince, bro. In like an interview, I think it was Joe Budden. He was like, bro, I didn't come in this shit to like focus on music. I came in to make money. I'm like, nigga, you're too creative to say that.
But he knows what he's doing. Yeah. He knows what he's doing. If that's how he really felt, he would have been stopped.
I feel you.
He would have been stopped.
Yeah. Because he's a character, dude. He's one of those. He's one of those dudes that's like I was talking about earlier, that he's a character, like personality jumping everywhere. Like
Yeah.
One interview, he talking about like fuck R. Kelly, he a rapist, this and that. Then the next one, he like on some serious shit, like talking some real shit.
Yeah.
It's like he found that happy medium.
Yeah, he's in a very good spot. Like spots like that are the spots that I like because I know like him, Mac Miller, like
Tyler.
Bastard Tyler. Not Flower Boy Tyler. Flower Boy Tyler, he a pop star now. He up there. He in the spotlight.
See, that's what made me start liking Tyler, bro.
He in the spotlight. Like I'm talking about like people that are in the spotlight but still like cruising under the radar a little bit. So like Tyler used to be under the radar cruising, but now he's just completely in that spotlight.
I feel you.
Earl Sweatshirt, he's cruising. He's definitely cruising. But that's
not
not
with
a
his
bad thing.
Feet of Clay project.
Feet of Clay. I don't think I listened to that one. I listened to what was the one before that?
Some rap songs.
I think so. The one with the blurry picture as the cover. Yeah, I listened to that one.
I didn't really like that one.
I didn't like it the first time through, and I listened to it again and I liked it.
I feel you. That's what Matt kept telling me to do. He's like, bro, you gotta give it another listen. It's
Yeah,
good.
I always listen through things twice. It was the same way with YB and Corday. Like I listened to it the first time through, and I was like, this is cool. And same thing with Revenge of the Dreamers too. Like I listened to it the first time through, said it was cool. Listened to it the second time, I was like, okay, I like this a lot. Yeah. And then the reason that I like Revenge of the Dreamers 3, but I felt when I listened to it initially, I was just like, people aren't gonna really get it, cause like if they wanted to really like blow that shit up, they would have put more like kind of hits on there. Yeah. And I feel like that's the story of what Cole is. Like he puts out songs that are, what would you call it? Like they'll be generational. Like they'll keep being played, and like over time it becomes more important. So like Revenge of the Dreamers 3 is definitely something that's gonna grow. Like Dreamville in general is just tough.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot of those artists are like just fucking underrated as fuck. Like I forgot how you say it. Is it Boss or Bass?
It's Boss.
Boss.
He's popping overseas. They love him in Africa.
Oh shit, we're okay.
Yeah.
Cause I was about to say, I feel like definitely. Well, over here, you don't be getting no type of. This motherfucker's nice. Like.
Yeah. Sometimes you gotta go overseas. That's how Tekashi popped.
Really?
Yeah, he went overseas.
Damn, I didn't even know that shit. Yeah, like I know. Like even for like I remember just during high school, like Rocky, somebody like like Rocky and shit like that. The way his sound and everything, like it was so different, and it was like it took people a while to really embrace it. I feel like they never really embraced Rocky the way he should have. Like not necessarily accept it, but like put him up there with those top caliber artists. You feel me? I feel like it was always that like Cole, Kendrick, Drake, Sean, Wale. Then like then put him in there.
Yeah.
And it was always like he's up there, bro. Like this is a nigga like One Train to me was a classic, but then even that those like deep like not deep cuts, but like those EDM like we said those EDM style tracks and shit like that. It was just like so different at the time.
Like the creativity, sometimes the artist surpasses the creativity. So like there's certain artists that are bigger than other artists' creativity alone. ASAP definitely has a lot of creativity. Travis Scott, a lot of creativity. Kanye West, a lot of creativity. And that's kind of what I lean towards, like the creative side. Because if you have that creative mindset, then like I feel like you stay around longer because you're more open-minded. You're more open to do things that could keep you around longer. So I feel like that's where it all starts.
Yeah, like, and that's honestly where I try to put myself too, even with doing, something like this. Like I've been brainstorming just some ideas. Like I'll literally be sitting thinking about something, like just thinking and shit. And like, I'll see the whole idea just visualize itself in my head and flesh itself out. Then I have to call somebody and like explain it and write it down as I'm talking to them. Cause it's like, if I don't write it down, I'm going to forget this shit. And it's like, it's some like dope ideas that I have, especially for this channel, like this YouTube channel and shit like that. Like that's really going to pop off. And right now it's about like finding that balance between this and music. Cause it's like when I'm going hard body on this, I just feel that need to do music. But then when I'm going hard body on music, it's like, I feel that need. So right now I'm trying to find that happy medium.
I feel like you should just, honestly, I like what you got going on here. I'm not telling you what to do though, but I like what you got going on here. I definitely think you should keep this up. And then while you're doing this, I feel like use this to make those connections and to network and stuff like that while still finding yourself as an artist behind the scenes, behind the curtain and stuff like that. Word. And then by the time it's time for you to come out as an artist, you'll have everything put together already, and it won't be that much of a struggle.
Word. That's
what I would recommend.
Yeah, because it's like, bro, so much shit, dog.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, like
it's a lot to do.
Yeah,
and nobody gets it except for you. That's how it's always gonna be like that. So you just gotta be in your own head. You gotta understand what's going on. Some people will get it, but like not everybody gets it. So it's just like you just gotta go about life like knowing your purpose and just knowing that you're the one that's in control at the end of the day. And what everybody else says doesn't necessarily matter.
Word shit, man. Damn. See what I mean? See the right shit at the right time, like I said.
Oh, right. Yeah, you're right.
Always on time. But yeah, so we had that hour mark, so I'm gonna go ahead and close it out here. I felt like we had a dope conversation, man.
Definitely.
I need you and Karan on here though, bro.
Man, nothing's gonna get done. ain't shit getting done.
Literally, me and this nigga were literally. So I started off telling him like how I did what you like. Oh, I'm gonna talk about X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. Then he was like, all right. So how you feel about Jesus? And then we just start talking about that shit.
Yo,
we literally talked for like 45 minutes before we recorded anything, bro. Like
that's crazy.
So it's
dog.
like 45 minutes of.
He really been on go with that shit lately. Like he's literally not holding back with that shit.
And I love it, bro.
At all. He's like on go with it.
Cause like I used to talk to him about shit like that, and he would get it, but he wouldn't get it.
He wouldn't elaborate on it.
Exactly, but now it's like I love that he expound upon that.
Yeah,
shit,
he's definitely at that point now.
Like me and him, I might do a conspiracy theory show with him, bro. I legitimately been telling him, let's do that, bro. He was like, this nigga had the nerve to tell me I'm not a conspiracy theorist. What? Well, actually, before we go, that's one of the. What's your favorite conspiracy theory?
Favorite conspiracy theory. So honestly, I don't be into him like that, but I have a dude that I know who posts them a lot on Snapchat, and the coolest one that I've seen is like every celebrity or every person that like has a whole bunch of money makes like the same hand gesture or some shit like that at some point.
Oh, that's that Illuminati.
I think it's Illuminati, the Illuminati conspiracy. Yeah. I feel like that's the coolest conspiracy theory. But at the same time, it's the most messed up one because like when artists pass away, that's the first thing people talk about, and I feel like that's low key disrespectful.
It is. Bro, when Michael Jackson died, niggas kept saying, "Oh, the Illuminati killed him."
Yeah, so it's like Illuminati is fun and funny to an extent, but then people take it too seriously.
Like, it got to the point where you got niggas out. And it's weird with this generation. I feel like this generation literally killed it because it's like they realize the absurdity of it. So they go into the absurdity because I just saw a video recently, RIP to the man, but Juice WRLD, this nigga did a ritual on like Snapchat or some shit. Just fucking with people. I think G Herbo was there. He's like, oh, this man about to go sell his soul. And that's where I feel like conspiracy theories, like, they're starting to get killed by this generation, by the meme generation, bro. Because it's like,
yeah, memes mess up a lot of stuff. Nobody takes anything seriously anymore.
Exactly.
And it's really bad.
Because you don't know, like, is this a joke?
Yeah, like, should it be funny? Should I crack a joke right now? Like, no, you shouldn't crack a joke right now. I'm gonna put I'm the first one to comment on this post about somebody getting shot. First comment.
Wow.
Like, stuff like that. I'm just like, come on. But is it cool if I shout out my socials?
Okay, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Follow me on IG, Red Spade 302, REDSPADE 302. Twitter, Red Spade 302. Facebook, Red Spade. YouTube, Red Spade. Check out my my website, redspadeartist.com. If it don't work there, redspademerchandise.com. You already know.
All right, bet. So yeah, thanks for coming through, bro.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. Always, man. And to the audience, I'd like to thank you guys for tuning into this installment of the 42 podcast and going balls deep with us on this journey of deciphering life, the universe, and everything there is. Not really. That's like my little thing. But yeah, so If you're on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe and share on this joint. You know, give us that thumbs up. As always, I like you guys to hop in the comments and talk to us. Let us know what you're thinking. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, you know, do the same thing. Share. We're on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, basically anywhere you can get podcasts. We everywhere out here in this bitch. So thank you for tuning in again, and peace. Be easy.